Hello there, welcome to Dreamside Stories. Today, in the new series on this channel, Living in the Middle Ages, we explore everyday life in a forgotten world. Across 8 episodes, we'll walk through the fields, kitchens, and memories of a time long gone. This is the first episode in the series, Living in a Medieval Village. The village lies quiet in the early morning. A thin mist hangs above the thatched roofs. You stand at the edge of a narrow path. It leads through open fields, still wet with dew. In the distance, you hear a rooster call. The earth is soft beneath your feet. Each step carries you deeper into the rhythm of village life. Wood smoke drifts from chimneys. A dog barks. Somewhere, a cow lowing calls the day to begin. This is a small community. Dozens of families live here side by side. Homes are made of timber and wattle. The air smells of straw, damp soil, and cooked porridge. You pass the first cottage. A woman steps outside with a clay pot in her hands. She nods at you, silent, then disappears toward the well. Children run past. Barefoot, laughing, they chase a goose through the mud. You hear the creak of a cart. A man leads his ox down the village road. He is headed for the fields beyond. In this village, most people are farmers. They work the land in long, narrow strips, side by side. It is an open field system, no fences, no private rows, everyone shares. Everyone depends on each other. The soil is not rich, but it feeds them. Barley, rye, oats, turnips and beans. Enough to last the winter. If the harvest is good, you reach the center of the village. There is a small green, and a simple wooden church. The bell rings once, not for mass, just to mark the passing of time. An old man sits by the door. He sharpens a blade with slow, steady strokes. You stop and listen. The sound of village life is quiet, but full. Footsteps on earth. Water pouring into buckets. Tools clinking. There is no hurry here. Time is measured in seasons, not minutes. A group of women kneels by the stream. They wash linen in the cold water. Their voices rise and fall in a soft rhythm. A boy walks past with a bundle of firewood. He hums a song you don't know. You follow the path behind the church. There, fields stretch out in every direction, divided but not owned. Each row marked by memory, each corner known by heart. This is not a place of power or riches, but it is a place of life, of shared burdens and simple joys. Along the edge of the fields, you spot a shepherd. He walks with quiet steps, his flock spread across the hillside. A dog circles them, alert and steady. Closer to the village, a blacksmith strikes metal. The sound echoes from his small forge. A young apprentice watches, eyes wide, holding a pair of tongs. Near the green, a group of elders gathers. They speak softly, exchanging news, commenting on the weather. Their faces are lined, their hands worn from labor. Beneath a large tree, a storyteller begins to speak. A few children sit in a half circle, listening. He tells tales of saints and beasts, of battles and blessings. The village breathes with a shared rhythm. There is hardship here. Hunger in poor seasons, illness with no remedy. But there is also laughter, song, the joy of a newborn child. Neighbors help each other. They lend tools, share bread, carry burdens. No one survives alone. The sky lightens as the sun climbs higher. Roofs shimmer with early light. Birds call from the eaves. A woman hangs linen on a line. She stops and looks at the sky. just for a moment. Stillness. Then, life moves again. The village stirs in full, and another day begins quietly together. The sun has just begun to rise. The village stirs slowly, like the soil it rests upon. There is no bell to wake the people, no rooster loud enough to reach every ear. But the light creeps in, and life follows. You are already awake. The farmer does not sleep long, not in spring. The planting season is short, and every hour matters. Your hands find the clothes where you left them, the rough wool still damp from yesterday's sweat. You dress in silence. Around you, others do the same. Soft knock on the door. A young boy, barely 10, stands barefoot with a pail of water from the well. He says nothing. You nod. He leaves. Everyone has their role. Outside, the earth is cool and dark. The air smells of ash, grass, and damp timber. Shadows of the thatched roofs stretch along the muddy lanes. No voices yet. Just the wooden thump of a cartwheel, the soft grunt of an ox. The animals must be fed first. You pass a pig rooting through hay, a tethered goat bleating softly. In the byre, the cow waits, patient, heavy-eyed. You offer her straw, stroke her side, and move on. The fields are not far. Strips of land, narrow and long, each one shared. There are no fences, only memory and trust. You walk with your tools slung across your back. A wooden rake, a blunt hoe, and a worn shovel. Others join you along the path. Men, boys, 2 women with baskets on their hips. They do not speak either. Words come later, when the work allows. At the edge of the field, the first warmth of sun reaches the soil. Mist still lingers, clinging to the low grass. You kneel, run your fingers through the earth. It is dry enough. Work begins. The land has been turned before, but it must be softened again. You and the others dig, rake, and break clods. The rhythm is steady. Strike, lift, scatter. The smell of soil rises like steam. By mid-morning, the village behind you is fully awake. Smoke curls from every roof. Children carry bundles of wood. Dogs bark. But out here, in the fields, time passes differently. A small pause. One man wipes his brow, another offers half a crust of bread. There is no breakfast bell. You eat what you bring when you can. From the hill, the Lord's steward rides by. He watches. He says nothing. He sees who works and who lingers. That is enough. In one field, a team begins to plant. Seeds fall in quiet arcs, thrown with practiced hands. Barley, oats, rye, food for winter, food for taxes, food for life. A boy runs past with a wooden whistle, scaring crows from the newly seeded rows. His laughter carries over the furrows, then disappears again. By noon, the sun is high. The tools feel heavier. The silence grows deeper, but not empty. It is the silence of work, of duty, of the land answering back. You stand for a moment, stretch your back, and turn your face to the sky. Above you, clouds drifting far from toil, far from hunger. Then, again, your hands return to the soil. The farmer does not complain. He bends, lifts, plants. He wipes his hands and continues, because no one else will do it for him, because the harvest is still only a hope. You glance to the horizon. A cluster of figures walk back toward the village. It is not the end of the day, only the end of this part. There is more to do. Always. But for now the field lies ready, and that is enough. You shoulder your tools and follow the path home. slowly. The same way you came, quietly, together. As the day grows, the tasks change. You switch tools, adjust your posture. Now it is time to clear weeds, guide the younger ones, mend a broken handle. Nothing ever ends. Work simply turns into new shapes. In the far field, someone shouts, "A wheel has broken." Others gather to lift the cart, to steady the ox, to find a stone flat enough to brace the axle. No one complains. This is how things are done. Slowly. Together. Not all farming is quiet. Sometimes you sing. A low song. One that you learned from your father. One that you now hear in the voices around you. It isn't for rhythm, it's for company, for remembering. A bird circles overhead, a kite, maybe, looking for movement in the grass. You watch it for a second, then turn back to your task. The land does not care about kites. A little farther, down the row, an older woman works with hands bent by time. She does not kneel, she cannot, but her basket fills just the same. Her pace is slower, her strength in wisdom. Now and then, someone tells a joke. A boy slips in the mud. Laughter rises, like birds startled from branches, just for a moment, then silence again. By the time your shadow stretches long, the work has slowed. The soil is darker now, warmer from the day's sun. The furrows are tidy, the seed sacks lighter. You wipe your hands on your tunic. Dust clings to your arms, your neck, your cheeks. You do not feel tired, only shaped, like wood smoothed by time. A distant bell rings from the church, not for mass, not for warning, just to say, the day has turned. The sun leans westward. You look around. Others are doing the same. A quiet glance, a nod. The field is finished. You begin to walk. Tools on your back. The same path, the same earth. But somehow it feels different on the way home. The air shifts slightly. A soft breeze moves across the tilled land, lifting a few specks of dust into the light. In the distance, a child's voice calls out, and a dog barks in response. The village is not far now. You shoulder your tools and begin the slow return. Each step carries the weight of the day, and the quiet satisfaction that comes with it. Behind you, the earth is marked by your labor. Ahead lies warmth, bread, and stories told by firelight. And so the day ends, with silence, with purpose. The sun stands higher now. In the fields beyond the village, the day has taken shape. Gone is the silence of dawn. Now there is movement, breath, and weight. You walk between rows of crops already planted. Yesterday's work lies in clean lines behind you. Today's work lies ahead, open, waiting. There is no end to labor, only shifts from one task to the next. The farmers are spread out across the land. Some carry baskets, others lift stones from the furrows, laying them in quiet stacks beside the path. A woman with sleeves rolled to her elbows bends over the soil. She has been here for hours. You join them. The ground is warm now, your boots pressing into soft ridges. You kneel and begin to weed, fingers to earth, roots loosened, clumps tossed to the side. The air is thick with dust and the slow rhythm of repetition. Sweat gathers beneath your tunic. Your back aches, but you keep going. There is no harvest without care. The crops must be guarded, weeded, watered, though water is scarce. You share what you have, carry what you can. Children help too. A girl pulls thistles beside her mother. A boy scares birds from the grain with a rag on a stick. A third carries a basket of stones, arms trembling. Someone calls out, a warning. A part of the field is too wet. The earth gives way. Feet sink. A man stumbles and laughs, covered in mud. The others smile just for a second. Then the work resumes. Further down the row, an older man sits by a stone. His knees cannot hold him long, but his eyes are sharp and his voice still teaches. He speaks of seasons past, of floods, of years when wheat grew tall. A young woman listens. She has never known such years. The bell from the church rings once. Midday. Time to eat. You gather with the others in the shade of a tree. Food is passed. Coarse bread, cold beans, dried meat if someone was lucky. A shared drink from a leather flask. No one speaks much. Words cost effort. You lie back in the grass, just for a moment. Clouds drift overhead. The breeze carries the scent of turned soil and sweat. Then the rest begins. A cart must be repaired. A gate mended. Tools sharpened. In the near field, planting continues. Grain is dropped row by row, covered by hand or rake. Each seed a hope, each furrow a promise. Birds return. So do the boys with their whistles. They run through the rows like dancers, loud and joyful, chasing crows and scattering dust. By late afternoon, the shadows grow longer. The air thickens. A few rest. Others work on. No one is idle for long. This is not survival by choice. It is survival by rhythm. A small group returns early. They carry herbs and firewood. Their work is done elsewhere, in kitchens, in homes, by the stream. You rise, stretch your back, and look out over the land. The fields are not finished. They never are. But today, they are good enough. Tomorrow it will begin again. But for now, you gather your tools and walk the path home, quietly, together. A young girl walks carefully between the rows, holding a bundle of herbs tied with twine. She stops now and then, checking leaves, plucking only what is ready. These plants do not feed the village, but they heal it, if used right. Her grandmother taught her which to take and which to leave. Near a crumbling stone wall, two boys repair a fence. One holds the wood in place. The other hammers with a rock. The nails are reused, bent straight by hand. Every piece matters. Nothing is thrown away. In the upper field, a group harvests thatch grass. It is not yet the season, but the roofs need patching, and storms come early some years. They tie the grasses in bundles, laying them in neat rows to dry. Along the hedgerow, an old dog sleeps in the sun, tail twitching in dreams. No one wakes it. It has guarded these paths longer than anyone can remember. Evening approaches slowly. The golden light softens every edge. Workers speak more now. Small jokes, quiet, songs, a reminder that they are not only laborers, but people too. Someone begins to hum. Another joins. It's an old tune, one that speaks of rain and luck and harvest. The rhythm matches the swing of arms, the thud of boots. Your hands are blistered. Your shirt sticks to your back. But you feel the land yielding, accepting the work, answering with quiet promise. A small boy approaches, carrying a wooden bowl. Inside are 3 eggs. He says they are for the woman who helped his mother last week. No one questions him. He knows his errand. The light begins to fade. You lift your eyes one last time. Across the field, the day has folded in on itself. Shadows stretch. Smoke begins to rise from the village chimneys. And still, someone works. But not you, not now. You gather your tools. The light fades slowly. Long shadows stretch from the trees. and the sounds of tools fall quiet. One by one, the workers rise and gather what remains. A girl offers her father a wildflower she picked near the hedgerow. He smiles without a word. No bell marks the end. Only the soft rhythm of footsteps returning to worn paths. The fields rest now, under the watch of the evening sky. The land is never finished. But for today, it is enough. The village wakes early on market day. You rise with the sun, earlier than usual. There is energy in the air, a quiet anticipation that hums beneath the morning stillness. Today is not for the fields. You carry a basket. So does nearly everyone else. Some with produce, others with eggs, cheese, pots, herbs. A few come only to watch. The path into the village center is worn from footsteps. You follow it past familiar doors and fences, each yard buzzing with quiet movement. Chickens are penned, shoes are brushed. A dog is tied to a post, already barking. As you reach the square, the transformation is underway. Stalls are being lifted into place, carts pulled into position. A canopy stretches above the well. Children chase each other between crates and legs. The smell of hay and smoke lingers from the ovens. Someone calls for onions. Another barters, over salt. A woman lays out cloth dyed in deep red. It flutters gently in the breeze. Beside her, a man sharpens knives on a wheel that sings when turned. You walk slowly through the rows. The square feels different. The same space, now filled with color and voices. Every stall brings a new scent, a new rhythm. Dried fish, beeswax, ale, the tang of vinegar near the pickled vegetables. A boy juggles apples poorly. One rolls under a cartwheel. Laughter follows. Two women share a bench nearby, gossiping through smiles. An old man leans on his stick, unmoving, watching everything unfold like a procession. You stop at a table selling ink and parchment. Expensive, rare. But you pause anyway, fingers hovering just above the edge. The seller nods without words. You nod back, then move on. A musician plays a slow tune on a wooden flute. The notes rise and fall like the smoke from a nearby hearth. A baby cries. A crow lands on a beam overhead. You find the baker. Warm bread, fresh from the oven. He offers you a crust with a grin. You take it, grateful. At the edge of the square, a tax steward takes note of sales. He marks his ledger with charcoal, watching more than he speaks. No one meets his eyes for long. Nearby, a friar walks barefoot through the crowd, bowl in hand. A few coins fall in, more out of habit than devotion. The sun climbs higher. The market swells, then softens. You find a seat on the fountain's edge. You eat in silence. Others do the same. The voices rise, then rest. The air thickens with heat. By midday, some stalls are nearly empty. Good trade. Others linger, hoping. The butcher sings to pass time. A girl balances a chicken on her arm. You rise again, basket lighter now. You pass a puppet stand. A child stares wide-eyed at the wooden figure dancing on a string. Her mother stands behind her, hands in the girl's hair, twisting it gently into a braid. You step away from the crowd, onto a side path, quieter, cooler. Behind the stalls, the village returns to itself. Soon the carts will leave. The stalls will come down. The square will grow silent again. But for now it lives. This is not just trade. This is memory. This is life in motion. You pass the smithy's stall. His tools gleam in the sun, laid out in careful rows. Hooks, hinges, shears. Simple things, but forged with care. He speaks little, but nods to each passerby. His daughter sits nearby, feeding dough to a small fire in a clay oven, brow furrowed in focus. Beyond him, a spice vendor gestures grandly with stained fingers. Dried herbs hang, in fragrant clusters. From the south, he says, though no one asks. Bitter, sharp, sweet. What do you need? His voice is loud, but not unkind. An older woman bargains fiercely over a bundle of leeks. She waves a hand, counters the price, and walks away, only to return a moment later and pay what was asked. The vendor chuckles, handing her the bundle, like a prize. At the far end of the market, a stranger speaks in a different tongue. His goods are unfamiliar, small bottles, colored stones, woven cords. People gather, curious, cautious. He bows low to each customer, never pushing, never asking. Someone spills a jug. Water floods the dust. Children scream with delight and run through the puddle until shooed away by their mothers. The ground steams in the heat. There is a rhythm here, even in the chaos. A song beneath the voices, beneath the haggling and clatter, the sound of life being lived together. The baker returns, arms dusted with flour. He sets down a new tray of rolls. A small crowd gathers. A girl buys one and bites into it, eyes wide. She runs to show her brother. In the corner of the square, an artist sketches with charcoal on scraps of parchment. Faces, roof lines, a cart. He does not speak, only draws. Occasionally someone places a coin by his foot. He nods once and keeps going. A wind passes through, lifting banners, rattling jars, snapping cloth. You close your eyes for a moment and let it pass over you. Then, with your basket nearly empty, you step away from the noise. The market fades behind you, though its song still hums in your ears. Down the alley, you pass a door left ajar. Inside, someone laughs. A cat darts across the threshold. A woman reaches to close the door, but pauses, sees you, then smiles, and gently shuts it. You round the corner, and there it is again. The rhythm of village life as it was before. Chickens pecking, wheels turning, firewood stacked neatly against walls. But the market remains, in voices echoing faintly, in scents caught in your sleeve, in the crumb of bread still warm in your hand. It begins with the smell of roasting meat. You catch it on the breeze before you reach the square. A scent heavy with smoke, herbs, and firewood. It clings to your clothes, fills your lungs, draws you closer. Today is not for labor. The fields rest. The tools are put away. Even the steward, for once, has vanished from his post. The village gathers slowly, like embers kindling to flame. People arrive in twos and threes. Children run ahead. Grandparents come leaning on sticks, hands held, smiles already blooming. The tables are set under the open sky, long planks balanced on barrels, covered in cloth. Trays appear, bowls, pots, jugs of ale passed from hand to hand, apples, turnips, bread stacked like bricks, warm and fragrant. Someone brings a lute, another brings a drum. No one leads the music. It just begins, soft at first, then louder. Laughter floats through the air like dust. A dog weaves between legs, searching for scraps. A boy drops a potato and chases it through the grass. You find a spot near the edge. Not alone, but not in the middle either. You watch as neighbors settle beside one another. People who rarely speak on work days, now sharing slices of pie and stories. The blacksmith tells a tale, half true, half made up. The baker laughs too loud. A girl with red hair sings a verse no one remembers. Everyone claps anyway. Children climb into laps. Bread is torn, not sliced. There are no rules today. A woman balances a tray of roasted roots as she steps carefully across the field. She almost falls. Cheers erupt, and someone catches her at the last second. She bows with a flourish, and the feast goes on. You are handed a bowl. It is heavy and full. You eat with your fingers, wiping them on the hem of your tunic. No one minds. A jug makes its way to you. You drink without asking what it is. It tastes sharp and sweet. The sun glints off tin cups and golden crusts. A breeze carries a banner sideways. A child chases it, laughing, until she runs into a stranger who lifts her and spins her once, gently. Behind the gathering, someone starts a dance. Just 2 people at first, then 4, then 8. Hands clasp, skirts lift, feet stomp in the dust. You don't dance, but you tap your foot. You nod in rhythm. You smile, though you do not realize it. The fire is lit early, though it's warm outside. Tradition, someone says. Around it, bread is toasted, songs are shouted, and smoke mixes with the scent of fennel and burnt crust. An old man stands and begins to recite something ancient. The words rise like birds, barely understood, but held in silence. No one interrupts. When he finishes, a murmur of approval runs through the crowd like a soft wave. Plates are cleaned with crusts. Empty jugs line the edge of the bench. Children lean into shoulders, eyes half-lidded, still chewing. But the music plays on, not louder, not faster, just steady, as if it always was. And above, the sky glows peach and gold, not from the sun, but from the warmth of it all. Near the well, a cluster of elders tells old stories. Their voices crack, but their eyes gleam. One holds a walking stick with carvings running its length. He taps it softly with each sentence, as if keeping rhythm with the past. A baby cries briefly, then quiets in its mother's arms. She hums, to soothe it, the melody weaving into the chorus of voices around her. You shift your weight and look out over the gathering. No one stands alone. Even the quiet ones have a place. Even the strangers are part of it now. Someone passes a dish of honeyed figs, sweet, sticky, rare. You take one and taste summer on your tongue. A girl strings wildflowers into a crown, placing it gently on her brother's head. He scowls but leaves it there. At the edge of the tables, a goat tied to a stake chews calmly on a vine, unaware of the laughter only meters away. Another song begins, this one faster. You feel it before you hear it. Feet stomp, hands clap. A boy jumps over a bench and lands in time with the beat. A woman whistles sharply. The crowd erupts. The sun is now angled low. Shadows stretch long and soft. But the feast is not done. Someone shouts a toast. Cups are raised. No one hears the words, but they cheer anyway. More bread. More stew. More stories, exaggerated now, but no one minds. The truth has always been flexible at festivals. The smith and the baker arm wrestle for show. Both pretend to win. Children scream in delight. A moment of quiet settles as a breeze passes through. You notice the leaves trembling above. The flicker of firelight in every eye. Then, once again, someone strikes the lute. And the village moves. Not just with feet or hands, but with memory. With joy remembered and shared. With the rhythm of people who have known toil but today choose celebration. This is the heart of it all, not the work, not the waiting, but this. The river is never still, even on quiet days it murmurs. A language of ripples and flow, of fish darting through reeds, of water brushing stone. You walk the path that follows its bend. The sun is soft this morning. Low, pale. The dew has not yet lifted from the grass. You carry a bundle of linen on your back. Others do too, slung over arms, balanced in baskets, tied with twine. The path narrows near the willows. You step aside to let an older woman pass. Her hands are worn smooth from years of washing. Down near the edge, stones mark the place. The ground is packed tight from feet, flattened by work and repetition. A circle of women gathers there. Some kneel, others squat. A few sit on low stools, their hems already damp. You find a place among them. The bundle is untied, linen spread out. Cold water seeps into your sleeves as you lower the cloth. Your knuckles sting. A bar of soap, rough, homemade, is passed down the line. You catch it with a nod, then begin. Slap, rub, rinse, wring. The rhythm settles in quickly, the same as always. Around you, the women talk. Not loudly, but constantly. Not everyone speaks. Not everyone listens. But words travel like water, looping, circling, flowing past. They speak of chickens, of prices, of the friar's sermon, of a birth, of an ache, of a neighbor who hasn't been seen since the feast. The conversation flows through you. You speak when you must, laugh when it fits, nod even when your mind drifts elsewhere. A child plays at the edge of the water, chasing minnows with a stick. His feet are bare, his sleeves soaked. He slips once, but no one scolds him. He laughs, and the women laugh too. A woman beside you wrings out a tunic with practiced strength. Her arms ripple with effort. She hums between breaths, a tune older than memory. The wind picks up. Sheets on nearby branches flap and twist like sails without ships. Further downstream, someone has tied garments to flat stones. They glisten in the light, bleached by sun and sky. The current moves beneath them, uncaring. A pair of ducks glide past. One quacks once, then is silent. You pause to rub your wrists. They are red now. Your back aches, but the pile is smaller. Progress, measured. In cloth, someone brings a flask. Water? Cider? No one asks. The flask makes its way around, passed hand to hand. You sip, wipe your chin, return it. Now the soap smells faintly of herbs. Lavender? Mint? It leaves a trace on your fingertips, a moment of gentleness in the work. The child is called back. He runs dripping to a woman with a thick braid. She scolds him softly and wraps him in a towel. The sun is higher now. Shadows shorter. The conversation quieter. You hang the last of the linen on a crooked pole nearby. It sags but holds, and still the river moves. The women gather their baskets. They nod, murmur farewells, step back onto the path. The grass is drier now, but still, cool beneath your feet. You do not speak as you leave. There is no need. The work was done. The words were shared. The river listened, and tomorrow, it will remember. On the far bank, someone sings. A thin voice, barely more than a whisper, drifting over the water like smoke. No one responds, but no one interrupts either. The song is allowed to be what it is. Soft, wavering, true. You keep scrubbing. A stubborn stain yields. Another doesn't. Some things come clean. Some don't. That's how it is. Beside you, a girl folds a shirt 3 times before getting it right. She sighs, starts again. Her mother says nothing, just reaches out and shows her once more, hands guiding hands. A breeze rustles through the reeds, their green blades flickering like candle flames. You catch a flash of silver, a fish jumping, then gone. Further upstream, 2 boys search for smooth stones. competing for who can skip theirs the farthest. One counts aloud, 1, 2, 3, before the splash. They cheer, then argue, then forget, and start again. You notice a scarf snagged on a branch, waving above the current. Someone lost it, maybe this morning, maybe last week. It stays there now, a forgotten banner. The woman with the thick braid begins a story. It's about a wolf, or maybe a thief, or maybe both. The details change, but the voices lean in. Even the child goes quiet, mouth open. You stop working for a moment, just to listen. There's a rhythm to the telling, a pause, a rise, a hush. You don't know how it ends. You don't need to. Back in your hands, the cloth is cleaner now, whiter, softer. You shake it once, then lay it over a bush to dry. The droplets fall like tiny bells. Someone laughs, loud and sudden. A joke at the expense of the friar, or perhaps the steward. Laughter spreads like ripples. For a moment, the river is full of joy. Then, gently, it returns to quiet. You collect your things. One cloth slips loose and is caught just before the wind takes it. A final glance at the water. It glimmers now, reflecting light in a language you'll never quite understand. But you feel it. You step onto the path. Your basket is heavy, but your shoulders are lighter. And though your feet are damp, your thoughts are clear. The day will go on. But for now, the river has spoken. You wake before the sun. The village still sleeps, tucked under fog and thatched roofs. But your bag is packed. Your shoes are laced. Today, you leave. Not forever, but for long enough. The road has been spoken of for weeks now. In whispers, in prayers, in excitement and worry. It winds through forests and fields, over hills and river crossings, and it leads to something greater, though no one agrees exactly what. A shrine, a relic, a forgiveness, a reason to keep walking. At the edge of the village, a few others wait. They look just like you. Wool cloaks, bread wrapped in cloth, bottles of water slung across shoulders. Some wear badges of saints. One holds a walking staff taller than himself. There are no horses, no carts. This journey is made on foot. The baker's boy brings a sack of dried apples. The friar arrives last with sandals already damp from morning dew. He blesses the group without ceremony. And then, you walk. The first steps are the hardest, not for the body, but for the breath, for the thought of distance, for the feeling of leaving behind all that is known. But soon, the rhythm finds you. One foot, then the other, step by step, wordless, focused, alive. You pass through fields you've worked, past hedges you've trimmed, past trees that once shaded your rest. But today, they are behind you now. The road stretches ahead, like a ribbon dropped from heaven. Birds cry from above. A fox darts into the brush. Dew catches the light on every blade of grass. Someone hums a tune. Another joins. A soft song carries across the early light. It has no name, only the sound of movement. You pass across by the roadside, half swallowed by ivy. Someone leaves a flower there. No one speaks. Later, you stop for water at a stream, cold, clean, fast-moving. You kneel. Your fingers ache from the chill, but your mouth thanks you with every sip. The friar shares a prayer. Short, humble. You walk again. Your feet begin to feel the road. Your back tightens beneath the weight of your pack. But the sun climbs slowly, and the world opens wider. A ridge offers a view back to the village. Tiny rooftops, smoke trailing upward. A place now distant. Familiar, but fading. A woman beside you weeps quietly. Not from pain, but something else. No one asks. A hand rests on her shoulder. That is enough. A dog follows for a while. Then it turns back. A child picks wildflowers and braids them into a crown, placing it on the friar's head. He laughs so hard he stumbles. The moment lives, in everyone's smile. You walk until your legs begin to question your reasons. But you keep going, because each step forward is a kind of answer. The road bends left, then straightens. A sign points toward a town no one has visited. Still, you follow it. This is not the end. Only the beginning. And somehow, it is already sacred. The road rises and falls. Some slopes leave your breath short. Others roll gently beneath your feet. Each turn hides something new. A moss-covered rock, a quiet grove, the sudden shimmer of water between trees. A boy begins to tell stories as you walk. Of pilgrims who met saints in disguise. Of miracles performed beneath moonlight. Of bandits, turned gentle by prayer. His voice fills the spaces between footfalls, winding imagination around fatigue. The group listens. Or pretends to. That is enough. Later the path narrows into woodland. Sunlight flickers through leaves overhead. The air is cooler here. Damper. The scent of earth stronger. A bird follows you for a time, calling in three-note bursts. No one knows its name. At midday, you rest in a clearing. Bread is shared. Apples passed down. A small fire is lit to boil herbs into tea. The friar sits on a stump, boots off, humming softly. Steam curls from the pot. It smells like mint and something older. Someone shows a blister. Another shares a salve. There is no shame in small wounds here. You lie back in the grass. A cloud drifts overhead, shaped like a fish. Then a boat. Then nothing at all. When it's time to walk again, your legs protest, but not loudly. The afternoon road is harder. Dust clings to your ankles. A breeze would be a gift, but none comes. A wooden cross stands where the path forks. Beneath it, a stone bowl holds rainwater. You dip your fingers in and press them to your brow, not out of habit, but thanks. You walk on. At a bend in the road, you meet another traveler, older, alone. He nods, joins without words. His pack is smaller, but his stride steady. The kind of steady that speaks of long journeys. The sun begins to lower, casting long shadows across the grass. You reach a place where the trees open, revealing fields far below. In the distance, a spire rises. Your first glimpse of the place you will sleep. Someone cheers softly, not from joy, but relief. The friar begins to sing again, a different tune this time, slower. The group follows. The road is still long, but your feet are sure, and your heart is quiet. The room is dark, even at midday. A single window lets in a strip of light, thin as thread, laying pale across the stone floor. Dust floats in it, rising and falling with every shift of breath. You sit quietly by the bed. The figure beneath the blankets barely moves. Her chest rises, falls, rises again, each breath shallow but steady. You count them without meaning to. In the corner, herbs hang from the rafters. Sage, yarrow, feverfew. Some are old, crumbling. Others fresh from the field. Their scent hangs heavy in the still air. Sharp, green, almost sour. A pot simmers near the fire, small and slow. You stirred it once, earlier. the liquid thick with roots and bark. You do not know if it helps. The healer came at dawn. She touched the forehead, listened to the chest, whispered a prayer, then left muttering, "Watch and wait." So you watch and wait. Outside, life continues. You hear it faintly. A cart rolling over stones, someone calling for chickens, a dog barking once, then twice. The world spins forward, but not here. Here, everything slows. You dip a cloth into cool water and press it to her lips. She does not drink, but she does not resist either. You take that as a blessing. Her skin is warm, damp. Her hair clings to her brow. You smooth it gently, again and again. A cough shakes her body. Not loud, but sharp. You place a hand on her shoulder, more for yourself than for her. You remember when she was strong. You remember her voice filling this room with laughter. You remember the way she sang while grinding flour, tapping the rhythm with her heel. You do not know if she remembers. A knock comes at the door. You do not answer. After a moment, it fades. The candle burns low. You replace it. The flame flickers, then steadies. Small light, but light all the same. You breathe with her now. One breath in, one out. A rhythm not your own, but shared. In the stillness, you notice the things you'd forgotten. A wool shawl folded neatly in the corner, a comb left on the sill, the faint scent of honey from a jar no one has touched. You hum without knowing the tune, just sound, just presence, because sometimes that's all there is, and sometimes it's enough. Time passes, though you cannot say how much. Shadows stretch across the floor. The light shifts slightly, catching on the metal rim of the water basin. You pour some into a cup and lift it to her lips again. This time, she swallows. A breath you didn't know you held escapes you. You speak to her now, softly, not expecting an answer, just words to fill the quiet. You tell her of the weather, of the woman who lost her goat again, of the boy who tried to build a raft in the ditch and floated all of 3 feet before it crumbled. You do not know if she hears, but speaking brings shape to the stillness. On the shelf, a bundle of dried lavender leans in a cup. It reminds you of last spring, when she tied ribbons around the stems and hung them above the door for luck. A robin lands on the windowsill. It tilts its head, watching. Then, without warning, it flutters off again. You rise and open the window just slightly, enough to let the air shift. The scent of earth and smoke drifts in. Your back aches from sitting, your knees from stillness, but you do not leave the room. Not yet. She stirs once, and her eyes open, just barely. They meet yours for only a second. Then they close again. But that second holds you. A voice calls from outside, asking after her. You respond with a wordless sound. Not yes, not no, just enough. You return to the bowl, stir the pot again. The liquid is darker now, the fire low. You ladle a small spoonful and cool it with your breath. When you lift it to her lips, some touches her tongue. Her throat moves. You whisper again. Her name, perhaps, or a blessing, or something only. The walls will remember. Evening creeps in unnoticed. The candle burns lower than before. You light another. The flame takes quickly, the room warming with its glow. The rhythm of breath continues. You place your hand in hers. Still warm. Still there. And that is everything. The tower watches over everything. Stone on stone, it rises above the village, older than memory, cracked with time, stained by weather. Birds nest in the crevices. Ivy climbs, curling around windows and up toward the belfry. You climb the stairs. Slowly. They spiral tightly, carved unevenly, worn down at the center from countless feet. Your hand traces the wall as you rise, fingers brushing moss, soot, cold stone. Each step creaks, not with wood, but with age. At the top, a heavy door opens to the wind. You step into the tower's crown. The village spreads below, quiet and complete. You see rooftops thatched in straw, fields, roads, a river like silver, thread. Children chase each other near the well. A cart rolls past the chapel. A woman hangs cloth to dry, white flags in the morning sun. But up here, all is still. The bell hangs in its frame, massive and silent, cast in bronze, marked with words you cannot read. It smells of iron, old dust, oil. The rope sways gently in the breeze that seeps through the slats. You do not ring it. Not today. You sit on a beam near the edge, legs dangling, air cool against your cheeks. You listen. To wind, to silence, to the occasional cry of a hawk far above. Your thoughts stretch, like the land. You think of seasons, how the fields turn gold, then brown, then bare, then green again. You think of the market, the feast, the river. You think of the sick room and the prayer. All of it lies beneath you now, and all of it belongs. The tower does not speak, but it remembers. You run your hand along the wood. Names are carved there, faint and fading. Initials, dates, symbols only the carver understood. You add nothing, not yet. Instead, you breathe, deep, long. A group gathers in the square below. A wedding, a birth, a judgment, you cannot tell. But you watch, steady and still. The tower watches with you. Then at last the bell sounds. Not by your hand, but from below. A pull, a pause, then the deep, round voice of bronze. It shakes the wood beneath you. It rolls through the air like thunder made gentle. It echoes across rooftops, into forests, over fields. Every head turns, and for a moment, every heart listens. The bell tolls again, and again. Each peal feels slower, deeper, older. You imagine the sound sinking into the stone beneath the village, echoing into wells and wood piles, into bread ovens and spinning rooms. Everyone hears it. Everyone pauses. You close your eyes and count each strike, not as a task, just to listen more closely. When the bell falls silent again, the hush that follows feels holy. Below, the people move once more. You see the gathering disperse. Children run. A dog barks. Life resumes. But for a moment, they were still. And so were you. The wind pushes harder now, curling around the tower and tugging at your cloak. You rise from the beam and walk the perimeter once, hand brushing the wood, the metal frame, the rope still swaying from the last pull. You think of the hands that have rung this bell. Generations. In mourning, in joy, in fire, in feast. Each strike carved into memory. You kneel by a wooden post and pull a knife from your belt. Not to carve your name, but a small mark, an X. You do not need others to know. The tower will. You descend slowly. The stairs creak differently now. You step carefully, preserving silence. Each level passes in dim light, stone walls, old dust, and hanging cobwebs. Halfway down, you stop at a small window and peer out. The sky has changed. Clouds gather in the east. The light is softer, no longer gold but turning to gray. The village prepares for rain. A woman collects herbs from her doorway. A man drives geese toward shelter. Someone lights a lantern early. You continue downward. At the base, the stone feels colder. You push open the door, stepping back into the village's breath. Smoke, bread, animals, and rain just beginning. You look up. The tower looms, unshaken. You walk home slowly, the echo of the bell still in your bones, and in that echo you carry something. Not just sound, but memory, place, belonging. The village is small, but from the tower, it holds the world. Before the village wakes, you are already moving. A thin trail winds through the hills, beaten flat by your feet and those of your flock. It stretches ahead, narrow and quiet, framed by low stone walls and dew-covered grass. You carry a crook in one hand, a bag slung over your shoulder. Inside, bread, cheese, and threadbare wool for mending. The sheep bleat softly as they follow your lead. Not in haste, not in fear, just with purpose. Mist clings low to the ground. The world is gray and blue. Sounds are muffled. You hear your breath more than your footsteps. A bird calls from a hedge, the first one of the day. You pass a gate and climb, boots slipping once in the damp soil. But you are steady now. You've walked this way too many times to fall. From the crest of the hill, the valley opens like a book. Trees clustered at the edge, a stream cutting through the center, fields of wild grass waiting to be grazed. You let out a short whistle. The sheep respond, fanning out like water poured across stone. A few linger near your boots. You nudge them gently. They go. You sit on a rock. Pull the bread from your bag. It's coarse and dry, but good. You chew slowly, eyes never leaving the field. Over time, the mist lifts. Sun warms the hilltops. A breeze stirs your cloak. You mend a hole in your glove. One sheep wanders too far. You rise, whistle again, and guide it back with calm steps and a quiet voice. Nothing dramatic, just rhythm. By midday, the field is alive with grazing. You walk its edge, watching, counting. A lamb limps slightly, a stone in its hoof perhaps. You catch it, kneel and inspect. The stone is there. You remove it gently. The lamb bounds away. You smile, alone. Clouds gather but pass without threat. You rest in the shadow of a thorn tree. You listen, to bees, to distant water, to the shuffle of hooves in grass. Later, you guide them home. The sun leans low. The trail is the same. But your boots feel heavier now. The flock is slower too. Fed. Satisfied. Content. At the gate, you count them again. No losses. In the village, windows glow, bread bakes, voices carry. But behind you, the hills remain quiet, and in your silence they speak. You pass a low stone shrine, half covered in ivy. Inside, a weathered figure carved from wood rests on a bed of moss. You touch your fingers to your brow. Not out of habit, out of memory. The shepherd before you stopped here too. In the distance, you spot another flock across the ridge. Their shepherd raises his hand in greeting. You raise yours in return, no words needed. Just recognition across open sky. Your sheep graze close to a patch of heather. You steer them gently away, too bitter for grazing, though bees love it. You crouch to pluck a sprig and tuck it behind your ear. A hawk circles overhead. The flock bunches tighter. You whistle low and calming. Later you carve lines into a stick, tallies for each day without rain. It's been long. The grass is holding, but not deep. You make a note to move to higher pasture tomorrow. You check the lamb again. It's keeping up now. Still a little cautious, but walking fine. You murmur something without meaning. It's not words that matter, but the sound. Lunch is quiet. A few pieces of cheese, a swallow of water, a long stretch on your back, looking up through the hawthorn branches. From the corner of your eye, you spot a fox. It pauses, watches. You don't move. Neither does it. Then it disappears into the brush without a sound. You rise, brush crumbs from your cloak, and gather the flock again. It's time to shift. The sun has passed its peak. Shadows grow. Long, you walk step by step, staff in hand, sheep ahead and behind. A wind picks up. You pull your hood higher. The same trail takes you home, but it's not the same as this morning. The ground is drier now. The stones warmer. The air changed. You smell wood smoke before you see the rooftops. At the edge of the village, a boy waits, with a gate half open. He waves. You nod. He watches the sheep pass, counting with his fingers. You give him a scrap of bread from your pouch. He grins and runs. You close the gate. The sheep settle in. You sit again, this time on the low bench. Outside the pen, your legs ache, your eyes blur, but there is peace in this, and tomorrow you will walk again. Evening falls gently. There is no great sound, no final act, just the hush that comes when the day releases its breath. The fields are quiet. The tools are hung. The ovens are cooling. A dog rests by the hearth, twitching in sleep. A window glows, behind lace curtains, yellow and warm. In the village square, only the echo of footsteps remains. You walk slowly, basket empty. You pass the well, the chapel, the smithy, familiar places now still. Even the air moves differently, softer, holding. On smoke curls from chimneys like whispered songs. From a doorway, laughter. From another song, a lute, barely in tune, and a voice singing low about summer that once was, and may be again. You sit on the stone wall near the edge of the field. Above, stars prick through the blue. The moon is late, but coming. You think not of what must be done, but of what has been. The stories told, the fields worked, the hands that held bread and tools, ink and wool, the children that chased chickens and dreams, all of it woven together like cloth, not perfect, but whole. You hear the bell once more, not for warning, not for mass, just once. To say, this day too was lived, and now it can rest. You rise. The village sleeps behind you. The hills breathe in silence. The sky turns deeper blue. Crickets begin to call. You walk home. A candle flickers in your window, and, in the distance, the tower stands, still watching, still holding everything. The past, the present, the rhythm of life, lived quietly, together, and in that rhythm, you were part of it. You are part of it still. You pause at your door. Before stepping in, you look once more at the village behind you, the curve of the path, the crooked roof lines, the chapel's window catching starlight. It's quiet, but not empty. Behind every wall is breath. Behind every shutter, a life. Inside, the fire waits, low but warm. You light a candle, set it near the bed, and lay your cloak across the stool. Your hands still smell of grass and smoke. your sleeves dusted with the work of the day. You do not mind. At the table, a bowl of lentils and barley, now cool. You eat slowly, unbothered by the silence. It is the silence of peace, not loneliness. On the shelf, your few treasures: a carved wooden comb, a worn book, a dried flower from last spring. Beside them, a folded scrap of cloth embroidered with initials not your own. You touch it once, gently. Outside, the wind stirs again, the candle flickers. Shadows stretch and settle, you close the shutters, and then you sit, just sit, and let your eyes close. You think of the shepherds, the smiths, the children in the square. You think of bread shared and bells rung, of footsteps on stone and laughter in doorways. The world is not grand here, but it is enough. And tomorrow, it will begin again. Slowly, softly, like a breath drawn in after sleep. You blow out the candle. The dark is kind, and in it, the rhythm continues. Somewhere the bell tower watches. Somewhere a rooster dreams of morning. And somewhere, just beyond the edge of night, another story begins.